stage is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My dear Mr. Ruch, my dear cantonal councillors, Mr. Mayor, Excellencies, dear parliamentary and local authority representatives, ladies and gentlemen. In the first half of the 19th century, doctors worried about whether the human body would be able to withstand speeds of 65 kilometers an hour traveling in a steam locomotive. In the 20th century, automobile pioneer Henry Ford said, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said, faster horses." In other words, it is in the nature of technological revolutions to break with the old. On the one hand, this often sparks hope and a frenzy of activity. On the other, it may give rise to fears and criticism. Ladies and gentlemen, people's fears and anxieties have to be taken seriously. Firstly, because new technologies never come without risk. Abuses need to be stopped, regardless of whether they are analog or digital. Secondly, in Switzerland's democracy, it is not governments and parliaments that have the final say, it's the people. If those voices are ignored, it rarely ends well. But banning things is not the right response to such fears. Instead, we must afford the greatest possible degree of freedom. And where rules are needed, smart, restrained, and effective solutions need to be found. But on top of that, there needs to be open debate to win over the public and instill a sense of optimism in the adventures that is the digital economy. And it really is an adventure. If we make all the right decisions in the coming months, we will go from having an internet which brought us globally networked information exchange and monetarization of data to a new internet of falling costs for transactions, monitoring and implementation of economic agreements. This must and will be a network based on integrity, cooperation, security, and data protection in all transactions. This decentralized internet does not only allow users to participate, it requires them to do so. And we should indeed be optimistic since we are looking at groundbreaking technology that is not open to manipulation or barely. One that opens up new applications in all aspects of life and which can generate future jobs and prosperity in our country. We must show the general public the huge opportunities offered by blockchain technology. But this dialogue needs the involvement of actors from business, academia, politics, and society. That's why I'm extremely pleased to be here at this blockchain summit today, to hear the recommendations of the blockchain task force, also on behalf of my colleague, Finance Minister Uli Maurer. And I'm delighted that so many actors from this new branch are involved in the task force. Within the space of just a few months, you have put together your ideas. You actively want to help make Switzerland an attractive blockchain location with an impeccable reputation. The federal government is already active. Its blockchain ICO working group will be sure to take your recommendations on board. Initial reactions to the framework for crypto businesses already set out by the Financial Markets Supervisory Authority have so far been good. The Canton and City of Zug started doing their homework thoroughly some time ago. So thank you, cantonal councillors Matthias Michel and Heinz Tendler, as well as Mayor Dolphy Müller, along with your administrations. All this goes to show just how well business and government work together in Switzerland, in partnership in search of pragmatic solutions. It allows us to make the most of the opportunity to build on current position as the #1 location for innovation and as an excellent location for business. That is also the aim of the Swiss Entrepreneurs Foundation, of which I am a patron. 500 million francs in venture of capital will be invested in the startup from a private fund. And the foundation will work to strengthen the ecosystem for young businesses. And that, of course, includes blockchain businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, when I spoke of Switzerland as a crypto nation at the Crypto Finance Conference in St. Moritz in the winter, not everyone was delighted. I'm speaking about my colleagues back home in Bern. But that doesn't matter. As a politician, it's hard to be popular. But today, I can say it was a mistake to speak of Switzerland as a crypto nation. I should have said a blockchain nation. But in all seriousness, no one is questioning our desire to be a strong manufacturing nation, a financial center, a leader in pharmaceuticals. These sectors will remain important pillars of our success. But it is also clear for me that Switzerland should also play a leading role in one of the most promising future technologies. I will, however, repeat the point that I emphasized in St. Moritz. It is not that I naively and enthusiastically applaud anything to do with digitalization. There are also risks associated with blockchain technology, and these need to be addressed in a serious manner. But what we want to do is offer an open environmental, optimal conditions and basic support to anyone wanting to carry out research, develop ideas, start up a business or invest in Switzerland. Naturally, as economic affairs minister, I would not want to pass up the chance to bang the drum for Switzerland in front of such an exceptional international audience. But the great thing is that I don't even have to. For what has been done here in Zug in recent years speaks for itself. But I will say it explicitly nonetheless. As the most competitive, innovative and liberal country in the world, Switzerland offers an optimal framework for business, even in the digital age. On that note, I would like to extend a particularly warm welcome today to all the guests from abroad, hopefully not just for this summit, but perhaps considering a move to Switzerland. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I will stress the blockchain is a huge opportunity for you as startups, investors, researchers or employees, for established companies wanting to explore new avenues, and for consumers. For us as a country wishing to be among the most innovative, competitive and prosperous in the future. Let's make the most of this opportunity and minimize the risks together through smart, liberal regulations. That way everyone wins. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a successful summit. And having said that, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. I'm happy to be here congratulations to the organizers of the summit. It's another next summit. We go through regular summits, more, and that helps Switzerland to stay among the most innovative, among the best employed. And I have one single political ambition, and you have to know this ambition to close my statement here this morning. The ambition is to offer to each and everybody, to all our citizens, a perspective. And a perspective means a job. And jobs go through innovation, go through competitivity, and we focus all our activities towards the needed supports to the young, the ones who want to participate in the market activities, that they get the correct and the future-oriented educations. We are actually in the midst of such a lesson, of such a gathering. I thank you very much. You help Switzerland to stay at the forefront of all the nations around this planet. Mr. Steinmeier, who was our guest yesterday and today, was asking a couple of questions around our blockchain, crypto valley activities, and I'm sure we understood yesterday that Switzerland is at least where the bigger brother in the north assumes to be. I wish you an interesting summit. I thank you very much for having been here such early in the morning. You are now hopefully awake, and me too.
Excellent stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you. Come on up, come on up. Thank you. It is such an honor to have you. There's a lot that you're involved in. Earlier this year, you talked about a Swiss crypto nation. Today, you're talking about having this as a blockchain nation. And then you just talked at the end about creating jobs. And you know that startups create jobs. And given that you talk so much to crypto crowds and blockchain crowds, what are the chances of you setting up your own blockchain startup?
I remember my first day having been elected to the Swiss government. That was the worst day in all my life.
Do not tweet that. Do not tweet that.
Why? I had to hand over each and everything of my family businesses and of my private activities, startup projects included. In other words, whenever I'm gonna step out of my actual capacities, I will start to think what to do.
Okay.
And I'm sure that I want to come back to this world, to this fantastic new technology, and then I'm going to answer to your question. Maybe that we go for a common project.
All right. Woo! All right. If any of you guys have ideas, yeah, go ahead. Cut to that. Amazing. You know, it is fantastic to have governments being so supportive of blockchain. Different countries and different governments have different approaches to it, especially because there are lots of blockchain summits and conferences that happen around the world. But to have you here legitimizes and gives credibility to the fact that this is Crypto Valley. Switzerland is the place that will hopefully lead the charge and is leading the charge, as you said, one of the most innovative, liberal, democratic countries in the world. Now, there's a question because in a moment, a white paper is going to be handed to you about regulations, future regulations around ICO. But it was not created by government. It was created by private individuals. So the question is, for especially the international folk in the room, why is this white paper and this initiative coming from private citizens and not from government?
That's a very simple to answer. When it comes from the private side, it fits to the market needs.
And when it comes from government? So, talking about perfect fit for market needs, we're very lucky to have two initiators, Lorenz and Matthias, as well as Matthias Michael coming in to provide this white paper. So if we give them a hand over there on that side, please. Come on up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Minister, dear Johann. Johann, first I want to thank you and your colleague, Minister Uli Maurer, that you were ready to initiate, together with members of governments of the cantons of Zurich and Zug. One is present, Heinz Tendler, my colleague, Minister of Finance, together with us to initiate this task force. This task force blockchain bringing together the relevant stakeholders and brains in blockchain technology in our country. The mere fact of starting this initiative was and still is important. It's a sign within our country and a sign toward the world that federal government, that you are taking blockchain development and its opportunities as serious. You showed, and by your today's presence, you demonstrate once again that you are eager to know the functioning of blockchain, which is not self-evident for politicians. You are eager to know the functioning, and you are eager to learn and discuss, and you show that you are welcoming innovations and startups and try to help find ways how to integrate new technologies and industries into our legal framework. You, as Minister of Crypto or Blockchain Nation, you as Minister of Opportunities and Perspectives. The other important fact was and still is that this task force is a close cooperation of representatives of companies like lawyers, banks, blockchain industries, so companies, then authorities, administration, and science. So brains and personalities of these three levels, economics, scientific level, and political level, these three levels are working together. And this, I would say, it's a Swiss way of doing things right. And each side brings its own knowledge, know-how into our joint mission. And only together, we will take the right steps to the future, and only together, you mentioned it, will be the leaders. Last point to mention, in the task force, we worked like a startup. It was a startup. We were working quick, dynamic, the working groups in different schedules and different speed. And therefore, today's result is one milestone of more to come. And like a startup, our task force will need a future on aspects like organization, financing, and so on. But for the moment, as head of the political work group within this task force, I'm very proud to hand you over the very first original copy of our white paper.
That's fantastic. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you very much. It's Zug, and we know how ambitious and how successful Zug is pushing these technologies ahead. The Crypto Valley Zug. And we want to make the crypto nation, the blockchain nation, naturally. Thank you so much. Be assured that we're going to support you as much as we can. I'm one out of at least 3 confederational ministers who want to contribute and who understand themselves as being capable to understand these technologies and to smartly support you. We will see where we end up, but you have the full support for the upcoming period for granted. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's give him a hand.